It's 10 to 9. The centuries-old tradition of political satire poking fun at our rulers is alive and well. A new exhibition at the Barbican Centre in London has just opened, featuring the work of some of our best-known satirists. Over the last decade, television programmes such as Spitting Image and cartoonists like Gerald Scarfe and Steve Bell have shaped our view of Britain's politicians. John Nicholson reports.
If you ever doubted that there's something of a cruel streak in the British character, then look no further than the Cutting Edge exhibition at London's Barbican Centre. The exhibition, while paying tribute to a few of today's favourite headline grabbers, is primarily a nostalgic look back at 10 years of national vitriol. Like the subject matter, the exhibition itself has become highly controversial. This loving last tribute to Mrs. Thatcher from Spitting Image is modelled on an earlier farewell supper, and as a result has been condemned by some religious leaders as sacrilegious. Over the last decade, satire has caught the public imagination, Spitting Image winning a mass audience on television, and Steve Bell and Gerald Scarfe, amongst others, influencing people, if not winning friends, by lampooning the powerful in the national press. Humour, albeit grim humour, masks political rage in many of the exhibits here. But is the anger essential to satirists? One artist whose photo montages were much used in campaigns by the GLC and CND thinks that it is.
My anger rises every day as I see things happening, and I decided to try and use my art to express that, so that my art wasn't separate from my anger. The two were joined together.
But apart from venting their own spleen and amusing others, do satirists influence the public's views? One man who has been at the receiving end of more than his fair share of abuse thinks that satirists can inflict serious damage.
The trouble with any kind of portrayal like that is that it has a sort of drip, drip, drip effect. If you have one or two portrayals, it doesn't matter. But if people begin to think that, the puppet is the real creature, then that gets a bit disturbing.
Although some think Sir David was mortally wounded by Spitting Image, the jury's still out on Mrs. Thatcher. Lampooned perhaps more viciously than anyone else in the 80s, some of her political enemies now believe that the strategy backfired, leaving Mrs. Thatcher fixed in the public imagination as strong, tough and resilient, qualities respected by the electorate.
I reckon that when she saw the images of the Iron Lady in Boadicea, she loved it.
So the satire didn't work?
No, it didn't work. Because, the attempt surely with political satire is to undermine.
At an earlier juncture in history, lampooning the monarch was on occasion a capital offence. Although Mrs. Thatcher never reintroduced that sanction, she survived all that Britain's satirists could throw at her. Perhaps, after all, she's had the last laugh.
Oh, very cruel, isn't it? Well,